Passion fruit. How awesome are passion fruit? Well, today in this video, I'm going to take one out of a pot and repot it into a bigger pot and explain to you why I'm doing it that way. Cheers. G'day everybody, and welcome back to my Aussie garden and kitchen. If it's your first time here, my name's Darren, but you can call me Daz. And today I'm going to be repotting a passion fruit into a big container. Now the reason I'm going to do that is obviously the passion fruit is too small for this container to start with. But instead of putting it into the ground, I prefer to put my passion fruit into a container because I really don't like suckers. On a previous property that I had suckers coming up everywhere and it was just crazy. They were popping up way far from the plant and I just couldn't stop them. It was just over and over and over. Suckers. I got sick of them. So what I have found is with another one that I've planted in the yard over behind me, I've planted it into a bigger container and it's been there for maybe 18 months now and no suckers. And if there's an occasional one that comes up through the top of the pot, I just pull it up and it's gone. So that's the way I'm sticking with it for now. The suckers really can be a pain. I'll give you a shot in a second over this direction of some that are growing from the plant next door from the neighbor and just show you how big they can really get. No matter how many times I chop them and stuff, they keep on coming back. And I don't want to poison them because I don't want to poison their main plant. So check out this monstrosity. This is a sucker from the passion fruit next door. And as you can see, it goes up and up and up and spreads out. And it actually starts to climb over the netting of my orchard. Now, granted, this one was left to grow and did get out of control. And I will eventually get down here with a small saw and I will chop all that out and get rid of it completely. But anyway, if you're not experienced with passion fruit and the suckers they can put out, I just wanted to give you an example of an extreme case. You can see here some of the green foliage that's coming from the suckers. When it's in full bloom, it actually does look quite nice because it's covered in flowers and it's great for the pollinators. But unfortunately, those flowers don't provide any fruit. It's a shame to cut it back because of all the pollinators, but I do have other flowers and plants here that are good, so they're not really going to miss this monstrosity behind me. Sorry, in front of me. Anyway, let's get back to the actual planting of my plant. All right, so what I've done here is in the bottom of my container, I've put a whole bunch of leaves and some of the sand from the ground around here and mixed it all together because over time, those leaves will break down into good organic matter and it'll provide a good base for the plant. And also it's a cost-saving measure. I like to do this with my big pots and garden beds, either this or a hugelkultur method. If I've got to buy in soil or organic compost, if I run out of my own compost, this way I only have to fill half the pot and it saves me quite a bit of money overall because I've got quite a few containers that I fill, or garden beds. So in my wheelbarrow, however you say it, this is a mix of my organic compost, a bit of sand from the yard, and I've also had to buy some commercial soil, bagged soil, because I just don't have enough here. So this is what I was saying about filling up the container first with something else, either the hugelkultur method where you put sticks and twigs and organic matter and build up the bottom of the container or garden bed, or in my case I've used leaves that I've collected from down the back and I've just mixed it with the soil, well, the sand from my yard, just to give it a base. That way I'm only using a portion of the actual commercial soil that I've had to pay for. So ultimately it's saving me a lot of money because I'm using way less. I do have to amend my soil here. It's pretty much an orange sand where I am. I pretty much amend everything that I plant into the ground, and when I'm using pots and containers, I use it with commercial soils or my own organic compost that I make here in my yard. Apologies if you can hear metal banging in the background. It's our dog. She's over in a small garden shed next to the mower and I don't know what she's doing, but she can hear me talking and she's wagging her tail and it's banging against the shed. So I apologise for the sound. Okay, I hope you can see me down here. What I forgot to mention is that I have my blood and bone, and I'll sprinkle some of that in the hole just to give all that nutrition to the roots of the plant when they start coming out and reaching out for stuff. And then I'll probably throw some more, and not probably, I will throw some more on the top just before watering, and I'll water that in as well. Okay, so I've now got the plant. I just have to remove it from the pot and put it in the hole. You can see the roots there are really starting to wrap around, so it was a bit overdue for taking out. I'll loosen them a little bit, but not too much. I don't really want to mess with them too much. As you can see, I've made my hole way too deep, and that's not good. The base of the plant and the top of the original soil here needs to be at ground level, not way down in the hole like that. So I'm just going to backfill just to get the level up a bit. That looks better. And I'm just going to backfill now. And these bottom leaves here touching the surface, I might cut them off because I don't want them touching the soil and possibly getting a disease, but I'll wait and see what happens when I put the mulch around it and see how that turns out. Apologies again if you can hear the banging noise. Our dog is really having fun in the shed behind me. I don't know what it's doing. So I'm just pushing down on the soil, and as I was filling, I was making sure there's no air pockets. You don't want air pockets around the roots, they will not do well. So just make sure when you're backfilling and you're putting a potted plant into soil that you do make sure you get the soil in around those roots and they're fully immersed in that soil. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So all I need to do now is to move it over into position. If I'd used my brain, I would have actually done this in the position and I wouldn't have had to move the big heavy pot at all. But luckily this one, I can grab the sides and I can roll it on its edge. So it's not a great drama. So the last couple of steps before I go is I'll just put some more blood and bone around the top, like so. And this will get watered in. And then what I'll do off camera is I'm going to put some sugarcane mulch on top of this. I don't have any at the moment, so I can't show you, but the reason I use sugarcane mulch is that it breaks down very well. It's good for the soil, and it obviously keeps away the weeds and stuff like that, keeps the moisture into the pot. So you want to keep the moisture up to this, because being a big black plastic pot, say that 5 times, in the sun, it's going to dry out. So passion fruit like their water. So I'm just going to make sure that it's mulched properly and I'll keep the water up to it. You do need to make sure it's drained well. So I've already checked, and this pot has some holes around the bottom, and I used a hand drill and I've actually drilled some holes in the base as well. Okay, so this is the final position that the passion fruit's going to sit in. So it should look pretty good. This part of the yard gets all day sun from say mid-morning till sunset. So that should be really good for the passion fruit. I will probably come out and cover it when I have frost, because it is a bit young. But later on, I'll just let it go and let it do its own thing. I don't think it'll suffer too badly from the frosts in this corner here. And you can see the sandy soil around the base of the pot. I don't want suckers coming up around the water tank and this fencing. And I do want to put a garden bed down into this corner here at the bottom of the screen and across a bit further and towards my feet in this direction. So I don't want to be dealing with suckers. So hopefully this method has worked fine in the past, and I will do it again. Now you can buy grafted and non-grafted passion fruit, And right at this point when it's important, I cannot for the life of me think of which is which, but one variety is more prone to having suckers and the other variety is not. This one is prone to having suckers, but the reason I got this one is because it's a lot more tolerant to the changing weather here with the frosts and the extreme heat. And it's easier for me to have a plant that combats that, and I can put it into a container like this and control the sucker growth within the container. So that's the plan anyway. One thing to consider when planting a plant, whether it's in the pot or in the ground, is you can see this growth here, and I've got some growth around the back here. I'm not sure if you can see it at the moment, but what you need to consider is where the sun is and which way it's going during the day, and also where your fencing is and the position of the yard, just so this growth, as it grows, in this case, I know that this one here is going to come out and grow this way, and the one at the back here is going to grow this way, and then this main branch here, I'll just watch the way things fork and I'll have them either go this way or this way. And this applies to a lot of plants. Say an orange tree, for instance, you want to make sure you've got it facing the right direction according to the sun in your area. So if you've got branches sticking out one way or the other, it's really important to consider which way those branches are going and think about the position of them in the long run according to the sun and the position of the plant in your yard. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is how I repot a passionfruit plant. I hope it helps you guys out there. Any beginners, if you have any questions, pop them down into the comments because I always reply to my comments. I just want to thank you all very much for watching today. I do appreciate it. Please check out my other videos on my channel. Hopefully there's something there to entertain you and possibly to learn from. And if you could just possibly hit that like button, ring the bell, comment, even subscribe. It just tells YouTube that I'm actually doing something worthwhile here and I'd appreciate it. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.